Nopal Castellanos. So everybody obviously heard about what happened. I know some of you didn't weren't fortunate enough to see the fight, but let me just tell you guys, it was a pretty good fight. Although I'm gonna just say right now, I enjoyed the first fight a lot more, and I think that Canelo won the first fight a lot more clearly than he did this one. This one I personally didn't care too much for his game plan. I didn't care for it because it just looked a lot better the way he did it last time. Fighting on the back foot and all the little tricks he did and stuff. But this fight showed his versatility. It showed that he proved them wrong. That he was willing to go toe to toe. And a lot about this fight is a lot of people aren't they're not happy with the outcome, but you guys are the same guys that were saying that Canelo wouldn't fight in the pocket, that all he did is run. And you guys, basically this fight came down to, it was a battle of the narratives. Basically, Abel Sanchez set a narrative down from the beginning saying that the reason why Canelo fought that way is because he couldn't last toe to toe and he was going to get knocked out and this and that. Well, look at what happened, dude. Canelo went in there. He was going forward the whole fight, gave everybody what they wanted. And what did Triple G do? He started fighting on the back foot. He was backing up the whole fight. Canelo was, the smaller man was pushing him back. And as far as the clenbuterol, I know some of you guys actually use that as a reason why Canelo was gonna lose, but you never looked at the obvious. You guys never looked at the obvious, that if he would have been on clenbuterol, obviously he would have had a mental. He would have been he wouldn't have been wanting this fight as much as he did. He wouldn't have pushed for this fight so hard. Because he had a built-in excuse. 6 months inactivity, he could have just said, okay, we're going to rethink this situation. We're going to take a tune-up fight first because, I don't want to be rusty in the ring. But no, he went in there with the full confidence, knowing that he's clean and knowing that that was just contaminated meat that he ate. And, I was telling everybody basically when they're saying, oh, well, he's not going to be the same without his clenbuterol. I was telling them, well, do you think he's going to risk everything knowing that he was on a substance before and willing to risk his whole career? Obviously, you guys haven't seen all the sacrifices that this young man has made to get to where he's at. He's always had a big backing from the Mexicans, that would watch his fights and buy his pay-per-views from the beginning. So, but the thing is, he was willing to go up and to fight the guys that he did. He was willing to take sacrifices at the beginning of his career when he was developing it. It's safe to say that his career is basically, already been developed. And but you don't understand, at the beginning he was taking sacrifices. He took a huge pay cut against Miguel Cotto. He took a huge sacrifice against Mayweather. He came down to 152. They were fighting for his belt. He went ahead and gave him all the A-side advantages. He got to pick the gloves for him, got to every little thing that he conceded to Floyd. And yes, he got really embarrassed off Floyd, but, because Floyd's a really good boxer, but you know what I mean? You can't. That fight basically catapulted him to where he's at right now. And, like I said, he took the necessary sacrifices. He wasn't a diva from the beginning. After a while, when you become the A side, it's necessary that you hold your position and, make sure they call your name out last, and all that little stuff, and that your name comes out first on the poster and everything. Those are just givens, man. That's not something that you complain about. If you go for the other guy, don't be complaining about those little stuff. It's all about the money, that. So, like I said, this fight, it basically came down to it was a battle of narratives. Abel Sanchez was sure, almost positive, that the reason why Canelo fought on the back foot is because he was scared of Triple G. He didn't want to fight, risk going head up. But it's like I told you guys, there was a key reason in the first fight why Canelo didn't stand there and trade in the center of the ring most of the time, because he was coming up from a lower weight division, and he still didn't have his weight dialed in, so he wasn't comfortable. And at the same time, Triple G's jab was gonna mess up his momentum, so he was able to do it at certain points, enough time to allow Triple G to knock him out. But like I said, I mean, he wasn't ready. But this fight, he seemed to have they had a plan for Triple G's jab. Basically, I noticed they would kind of like feint around it, like, you know what I mean, every time he'd throw it, and then he avoided his right hand most of the fight. Props to Canelo. He took all them belts, and your boy Nopal, he won big on this fight, because I put a lot of money down on this fight, and the odds for it were pretty good. But I'm not gonna lie, I was all the back and forth. I got to the point where I was like, fuck, man, I got a fight party planned and everything, but I might just not watch the fight, because it was too nerve-wracking. The way Canelo was fighting, it was like, I was afraid he was going to gas out and get knocked out, really, because of the way he was fighting. I did not expect that. It was a surprise, but nevertheless, the man gave the fans what he wanted. And you know what? All the back and forth this whole year with Triple G fans that, you know what I mean, basically weren't giving an inch of any type of argument. They would just flat out repeat what Abel Sanchez said, and it's pretty hard. Ain't gonna lie, but seriously, this is one of the most satisfying fights that I've seen, and that's all I gotta say about that. Nopal Castellanos.